Nice. Okay, and the Cinsault,
The other guy, the other light red in the stable.
the heavy light red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the not light red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinsault. Why Cinsault? I mean,
I think it's a grape that kind of I guess I'll answer.
Well, I can.
Go for it. You can do it.
We're going to have totally different answers.
Yeah. Actually, I want to hear your answer. Go for it.
So one of my favourite varieties in the world is Grenache, and really fell in love with Grenache while travelling, especially in Australia, where they have very herbal Grenaches. And I find that Cinsaults actually are sort of answer to that in South Africa. You can get this sort of herbal character. It's got lovely red fruit, and so that was kind of why I wanted to make Cinsault. And it's also got such a great, its heritage in South Africa. It's such an old variety. It was planted extensively in Stellenbosch, and a lot of those vineyards were pulled out, like Jeanine, to plant Cabernet and Merlot and those sort of more popular Sauvignon Blanc. So it has that sort of similar story as well. So it is a very important grape for Stellenbosch and for South Africa, like Jeanine. So that for me is kind of why we started making it. And in particular, where this comes from, it's just such a good site, and we had the opportunity to take these grapes.
so we're moving away from the Polka Drive and the first three wines.
So this is in the Faure, Faure area, even closer to the ocean than the Polka Dry area, probably 5 kilometers. I think it's the closest vineyards in Stellenbosch to the sea.
Yeah.
And it's got this lovely coastal influence. It's cooler morning temperatures. It never gets as hot as Stellenbosch. It's about 4 degrees cooler. So it's just a lovely site for Stellenbosch.
Also granitic soils?
Also granite soils, yeah.
And
it's an older vineyard. I mean, it's planted, the top part is planted in 1975, and the bottom section is planted in 1988. So it's a relatively older Cinsault vineyard for what is around. I mean, there obviously are older ones, but in Stellenbosch, this is considered probably a relatively older Cinsault.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
I'm not sure what the oldest Cinsault in Stellenbosch is, but this would be up there at 75.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is Rustenhof, so this is Peter Bredel's farm, so the old Bredel port farm, cousin of Bernard Bredel. So Bernie's obviously, you have to, he's a bit of a pest.
We have to wake him up when we arrive there. He's been sleeping in the vineyard. He's been amazing, helping us get this vineyard into really good shape with sort of more organic practices and planting cover crops. He's got such amazing knowledge, so it's been incredible to work with him.
And you said an important word here is that cooler climate for Stellenbosch, this particular little microclimate of, it's almost like a little depression. Yeah. Obviously, part of the vineyard faces the Helderberg, essentially.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that is a little bit of a bowl. And it seems like all the cool air, as the day gets warmer, obviously cool air is heavier than hot air. It just seems like it all rests coming down from the mountains into these little pockets of depressions. Yeah,
and I mean, you've been in that vineyard before. It can be quite chilly in summer.
Take a little jersey.
Yeah.
Or
a little cardi.
A little brandy and coke beforehand. But I think it shows itself in this wine as well. It has such beautiful purity of red fruit. I mean, Cinsault, as a serious single varietal wine in South Africa, isn't that old. If you zoom out and talk about South African Cinsault in general, you're talking about sort of that sort of savoury, earthy, poor man's Pinot, rustic. This is not rustic at all. This is really pure, very precise. Maybe the concrete as well. But I think a lot of it seems to be that granitic soils and that cooler air coming through, maintaining that sort of integrity of the fruit. It almost has like a violet perfume, floral perfume to it. It's a really bright, red edges, and less of that sort of herbal character that I would normally put with Cinsault. Yeah. It's a fairly unique vineyard in my experience. Yeah. Not just in Stellenbosch, but in South Africa. I mean, if you go to Darling, the Cinsaults there are very, very different. Yeah. Or if you go to the Swartland, they're very, very different there as well.
Yeah. Even Bottleray, I mean, we experimented with the vineyard in the Bottleray area, and it was just completely different to this.
Yeah, the classic Cinsault is very different to this one.
Yeah, so it's a very special.
And just enjoy to drink. It's so effortless, this wine. It just sort of sits in the glass, gives you everything you want it to, and then but not too much. A little bit of acidity comes through, nice little fine grain tannin, lovely bright fruit, and just beautiful acidity, refreshing the palate. So
Yeah.
delicious wine.
Really
And
drinkable.
like the Pinot Gris, you can drink it either slightly chilled or at
Yeah.
the quote-unquote normal red wine temperature.
Yeah.
Lovely, guys. Lovely.